Ho, 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 ho! This is Wilhelm the Wonderful, back at the Dragon Factory. And here we have the next step in the creation of the dragon head for our boat, the Dragon Lady. This dragon is actually a hybrid Forschnot. Because it's got 4 schnots, 2 there and 2 there. These hybrid dragons are made by breeding 2 different species. That's how you get 4 schnots instead of just 2. The mother was a purple 2-schnot. That's why the upper 2 schnots are from mom. The father was a North American pug nose. That's why you get that distinctive pug nose look on the front of this guy. You can see here I'm using this kind of wire meshy stuff here, creating ridges, filling it in with a mix of sawdust and Gorilla Glue. Here I put down the wire, and I take under here is just regular Scott towels that I soak in Gorilla Glue and push it on, and that makes, once the glue dries, then I can put my sawdust mix on top. It doesn't push through the mesh. On the back here, there's going to be kind of a trap door in this area, and this is where the smoke is going to go in to go up through the nostrils. Here we go. This here cow horn is going to be the ear, something like that. Oh, that should look pretty cool. And then get my hand turned around here. The ram's horn will, I don't know, be something like that. I'm not exactly sure yet. So this is coming together. I'm really surprised at what an authentic Forschnot I'm getting together here, using man-made materials. I mean, you know, I've got it. It just warms my heart to. It just takes me back to my childhood when I used to watch these guys playing in the backyard up on the hillside. Back in the good old days. And you know, these dragons that you create here, these are not just wood and sawdust and paint and stuff. These dragons have a spirit. They have a spirit that you can call on, that you can become that dragon spirit when an emergency rises, when the ship is in danger. In fact, I'll tell you, I've even seen the dragon head come alive in the middle of a battle with a sea serpent or giant squid. It's amazing. I mean, after the battle's over, I look up at the front of the boat, and like there'll be a piece of a squid tentacle hanging off the mouth or something, and blood flowing off of the dragon's mouth will be all bloody and covered with gore. I mean, that dragon will just hops right in there when the boat is in peril. Serious business is dragonology. I mean, you got to understand what it's like to be out at sea when it's like a giant squid hits you. See, these squids, they hang down there about 400 meters, and they're looking up at the surface of the ocean, and looking for that dark shape. The whales are their favorite food, and so they're looking for that whale sunning himself or hanging out on the surface, and they come up from 400 feet, 400 meters, get that all that momentum going when they hit that whale. And one of their favorite tactics is to attack whales when they're mating. When the two of them are up there together. And the reason we know this is because when we join two ships together at sea, for men to change ships or cargo or things like that. I mean, that's when we're most likely to get hit by a giant squid, because they think they see the two boats, they think it's two whales mating. I mean, you're always at full battle stations whenever we have two boats joined at sea. It's just the way it is. And when that squid hits the boat, it rocks the boat, and those tentacles come wrapping up around, and it takes it a couple of minutes, but once those tentacles get locked on your boat, and that squid's got that parrot beak thing, and he's chomping on the bottom of your boat. He's taking out chunks the size of watermelons, at every bite. And I mean, you got like about 3 minutes or you're squid shit. I mean, that's just the way it is when you're and that's you gotta grab your gear, you gotta connect with your dragon, you gotta empower yourself, and you gotta go at it, because you got no time at all. There's one slight advantage that the ship has, and that's because the squid is underwater and its tentacles are up. And so the squid can't see what's going on because the boat hull's in the way. So tentacles they're not really well directed at first. They're kind of wandering. And then once one tentacle gets hooked on and another one, and so it gives you like maybe an extra minute because of that. But I'll tell you, it's serious business. Serious business. So got to remember this one time. We're out off the coast of France, and we got a bearing on a monastery. We're heading into shore. Got a rich monastery, man. And I'm in la la land. All I can think about are those boxes of gold, those silver coins, some nice big crosses to melt down. Oh man, I'm just dreamland, and all of a sudden, wham! The boat gets hit, the bow is lifted a couple feet out of the water, a couple of the boys are thrown overboard, and those tentacles, God, they start to wrap around, and I mean, you got to get out of La La Land and get to business, like in milliseconds. So, man, I jump up, I take that dragon breath, grab the axe, start whacking away. Tentacles are floating around. And this is when you got to have a couple of gnomes on board. I mean, you never leave port without at least a couple gnomes. Because these guys are so quick. They're so agile. They're constantly aware. They're in wide-angle vision. They're just great. And as captain of the ship, my policy is that I always give a gold coin to the first crew member to whack off a tentacle when we're in one of these attacks, and it's always a gnome. The gnomes always get that gold coin. They're a blessing, I got to tell you. So anyhow, we're in the middle of this battle, and we're whacking away with the axes. Some of these tentacles, they don't just fall off. You're whacking away, and all of a sudden, this one tentacle just grabs my arm, and it's got me right here. And those suctions are sucking in, and it grabs me, and it's just pulling me off the deck. I can just feel my feet coming loose, and it's going to flip me out into the ocean. And my sailmaker gnome, what a great guy, man. Out of the corner of his eye, he sees this go down, and he just throws himself across the boat, and he lands with his axe and whacks that tentacle off. 3 minutes was over. We whacked off, 6 or 8 tentacles. A couple of them are still laying on the deck, like wiggling. They still wiggle for a while after you hack them. It's a little crazy, but anyhow, with the critter's let go. He's gone back to sleep or wherever he's gone, and so we start to clean up the mess on the deck. We go back and pick up the guys that got thrown overboard when we got hit. They were pissed. They missed the battle. They were so mad. They got thrown overboard. But anyhow, so we pick up all the tentacles. We get out the stew pot, our big pot. Throw all the tentacles in it. We have this great big calamari meal. And well, for the second half of that battle, after I still had this tentacle on me, I'm whacking that axe. There's another tentacle. I still got this one hanging here. My sailmaker gnome chopped it, but I still got the damn thing on my arm. So after things settled down, I got my knife out and I started prying it off. It took me, those suckers. When those suckers are on there, those tentacles stick. But I pried it off. And, tough day. Oh, I've still got scars from that. God, let me show you. Oh. God, they're wicked scars. God, it's like they never heal. It's like these things, these big blisters and these big scabs form up. But they just every 6 months or so, you got to pull the scabs off, and it's just the way it is. And I don't know. I think those giant squids, I think those tentacles have got some kind of flesh-eating bacteria or something. I mean, this thing just won't heal. But, that's the life of a Viking, it just, I think about this entire, it's been, God, I think it's been 400 years, since that battle. I would have thought they would have healed by now, but it's not easy being a Viking, folks. May Thor and Odin guide your journey. Hope